Welcome to the DL Gaming Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about Enshrouded, Fortnite, what? And the Fallout TV show. But first, my name is Christian.
I'm Bobby.
I'm Nick.
I'm missing my coffee, but it's okay. I'll wake up throughout this. I'll wake up throughout the rest of this episode. I want to be your guys' coffee. Hopefully, you listen to this in the morning somewhere, getting ready for your drudgery. We are the pre-drudgery caffeine for your ears.
Yeah. I wonder how people usually feel when they listen to this show. Do we pump you up? Do we make you sad, happy?
Do we have like a stat for like when people listen to us?
No, that would be really cool to see if they are plugging into us in the morning or at night or something. Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be pretty fucking awesome.
I imagine, I don't know, but I imagine it's, people are listening when they can't be playing video games, but they're not getting enough video games in their life, so they listen about video games.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of what I do.
Or maybe they want to hear about new video games, little gems like Enshrouded or the Fallout TV show or Fortnite. I don't know. If you listen to this show and you know why, just let us know in Discord. That's good. On this podcast, we ping things, which is we're noting something interesting. I want to note on Spotify, you can leave us a comment. There's a little Q&A section, and someone has been diligently leaving us comments for a long time. His name is Big Dick Dad Jams on Your Face. And I think that's got to be one of the greatest usernames I've ever seen of all time. Check out this reply from Big Dick Dad Jams on Your Face. The question is, what is your favorite game? Terra for PC. Big in 2015, I think Bluehole Studio produced an MMORPG. It has the best combat IMO. First MMORPG I really played in a long time, a year. Oddly enough, I was on the run, kept me busy. What? What's the lore? What's going on?
Where's the backstory for that?
Just drops that comment? I don't know. It's leave us a comment on Spotify and we might read it, but you will never be as interesting as Big Dick Dad Jams on Your Face. Nick, what are you pinging this week?
I'm pinging the fact that there's new free stuff coming to Fallout 4 with the release of the Fallout TV show. Bethesda announced that free stuff will be coming this coming week to Fallout 4 specifically. A couple new skins for power armor to include actual armor, a new workshop for like guns and stuff. Some like character interactions, a couple other things. Nothing too crazy, nothing like game breaking or like game advancing. It's just like a little Listerine strip to get you back in.
That's cool. I guess it makes sense because some people have never played it and they're probably turned on by the show, and so they're going to go and sell some copies. So might as well get the game in the news, right?
Exactly. I think it's also going to be like get people to come back to Fallout 4 at least. But we'll see.
Get people in the mood. Yeah.
Is this the part where we talk about the show?
No. I'll talk about the show later, just in case someone wants to skip that.
Where are you going to talk about it? Because I want to talk about it. God damn it. Oh, it's in highlights. Okay.
Bobby, what are you picking this week on the spot?
On the spot, nothing interesting happened this week. I have nothing to ping.
While your TV's missing, dude, you got fucking ransacked. Yeah, you're not going to talk about that?
No. What? My parents' TV broke and I gave them mine. That's the whole story there.
But that means you have a new one coming, which ties in perfectly with my ping. I just got a TV yesterday for UFC 300. I was having some people out. I have a projector and I love it. It's like over 100 inches when it's going, and it's 4K. But the problem is it gets dark so late here, so you can't see it until like 7:30. So I'm like, my wimpy TV inside is not like UFC 300 worthy. And then Mila's TV broke, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go get a TV, and I put it. But again, we always leave everything till the last minute, being Mexicans, and so like 10 minutes before UFC started, I'm like trying to mount it to the wall. People are like walking in and like bringing their chips and salsa, and they're like, "Where's, you know how many times I heard, where's the, like, I was here for the UFC, where's the UFC? Hey, you know, that kind of stuff." And it makes everything so much worse because, like, oh, and then the TV didn't work that I started up, and there was no audio, dude. And I'm not doing anything fancy, no sound bar, no nothing, just literally like TV audio on. It's on level 50, not working. More fucking, it'd be great if we could hear it, and then so
I can feel
I know, dude,
on
just
your
on
back.
the back,
Like
yeah.
the back of my neck is red right now.
So I unplugged the thing, just hard fucking unplug, waited 30 seconds, put it back in, and it worked.
A classic. Bobby had to go to school to learn that, by the way. He's going to school right now to
continuing education. My ass, that's been working since the 40s.
Unplug and replug.
Yeah, it's called a power cycle in his neck of the wood. So it's a Samsung. I'm a Samsung TV buyer for life. I've always had, like, my last 3 or 4 TVs have been Samsungs. Had Mila's TV never broke, I still would have been happy with my TV from 5 years ago. It was great. And then now I have their new technology, their Neo QLED something or other. It looks fantastic. I'm super happy with it. 75 inches, and it has a gaming hub. So dedicated, like,
for gamers.
It's basically
for gamers.
It's basically big picture mode
okay.
on a TV. So once you click on it, you can't even use your controller anymore. I'm sorry, your remote for the TV. You could do 1 or 2 things, but the rest of it is for controller only. So the only thing you could do on that screen is connect your wireless controller. So we have Nintendo Pro controllers. So I'm gonna fuck around with it. I'll probably talk about it next week. But basically, all of the streaming apps are already in there. So you could already see Xbox Game Pass. You can already see Nvidia Shield or whatever the 5 of them are, or whatever. Google had one. It's still on there. So anyway, you can go ahead.
You know what's interesting is, like, my TV kind of does the same thing, but with all the streaming services, it just shows you like, when I log into Netflix, it's like, we detected that you have a Netflix login. Now we're going to recommend shows from Netflix. And like if you search for a show, it'll primarily show you any outlet that already has it, so you don't mistakenly buy something or mistakenly, like, pay for something.
That's sweet, dude.
Cool.
Yeah, it's part of the Google TV thing, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And
dude,
so, like, every time, go ahead.
I have Google TV on that's how I power my projector outside, and it's the best UI I've ever used. It's the best.
Yeah, it's so simple, so easy to use.
Yeah. Anyway, too early to know how super happy I am with it, but the TV has no glare and it has very blacks. I mean, it's really great.
Cool. And the UFC night ended up being a success. No other.
Yes, oh my gosh, I had to pay $140 for UFC 300. And
dude, are these people coming to your house pitching,
Dana
or is it like a
White.
Potluck? Potluck style? What's happening? What's the pitch?
Everybody brought beer, so now I have 75 beers. And speaking of which, I think I'm gonna go get one. Fuck coffee.
Why get a coffee?
Yeah,
that's so off-brand for you. Okay, while you're gone, I want to ask real quick. My last ping: why is Sam Lake drinking coffee everywhere? Does anyone know why this is?
Who? What? Where?
Sam Lake, the guy who made Alan Wake, the Alan Wake games. He's drinking coffee with all these celebrities. They're like 5-second long clips, and he's been doing it for like 6 months. I don't know what it means, but everyone is like, yes, this is. It's just like a joke or something I'm not in on, and I want to know why. Why is he drinking coffee everywhere?
Is it kind of like in cars with comedians or something? It's just like a place to talk. Is it?
No, he's just meeting with celebrities, looking blankly at the screen and taking a sip of coffee and then putting the coffee down. And then sometimes the camera pans and a bunch of people are also drinking coffee at the same time and they put it down. And he's like going to different studios and stuff and he's just drinking coffee. I don't know.
I tell you,
that sounds really.
It's not getting us any closer to Alan Wake 3. I'll tell you that.
Get on it, man.
Yeah, they just released Alan Wake 2. That's a lot of coffee, dude. Kind of time to get to work. Okay. Moving on to highlights, which is games we have been playing. Nicholas, you've been playing some games, but you've also been watching a show, the Fallout TV show.
Yeah. So, man, boy, howdy. Has anyone else seen it besides me and Emilio? Bobby, you? No? Right?
I have not. I didn't realize it was out until we had a listener question from someone this week about it. So after
What
you
about
give
you,
your
Sniper?
opinion on it, maybe we'll just read. He offers his thoughts.
What about you, Sniper? Have you seen it?
Nope.
I've seen 1.5
Um,
episodes, but I am very happy with it.
I watched 3 episodes. One on the night it released, and then 2 yesterday. I figured you guys might have watched it, but if you talk about a game show, like a show based off of a video game that captures the essence of the video game, I think Fallout is probably the best at it. I'm not saying it's the best video game show. I'm not saying it's the best show in the world, but the way that they make the show feel is very Fallout, right?
Yeah,
When
I
you
think
play
it was a perfect like mix between it's brutally fucking, just
Oh, it gets
so
worse, by the
violent.
way. Way worse. It gets even worse than the episode 1, by the way.
And yet it's mixed in with this like campy 50s weirdness. And that's what a lot of Fallout is. It's like kind of funny, but also totally brutal. And then TV shows just like that.
It's me and Leslie were talking about it, right? Because you see some abhorrent shit in this show, and you're like, dude, how are they showing this on TV? I mean, it's not that bad, but it's pretty bad. But the idea of being desensitized to something because the environment around you is so fucking bad comes to like when you play Fallout or when you watch the show, it the same thing happens in the game and the TV show. You're like, normally these situations would disturb someone or completely off-putting to like any normal human. And then like because it's the Fallout universe, you're like, oh yeah, this is a terrible fucking place, both before the bombs and after the bombs.
Right.
And so they do.
Oh, I didn't know before the
there's-
bombs. Could you go into that a little bit? What was terrible before
So yeah,
the
there's
bombs?
there's three main characters, by the way, and I'll explain why it's terrible before the bombs right now, I guess. So in that
Sorry.
world, in that version, it's an alternate future. The capacitor was never invented, so therefore, like microprocessors and things like that were never developed,
Right.
and so everything's atomic based, right? Or most things are atomic based. Well, in that future, we get to a point in the future where the resource wars begins, and like Britain nuclear strikes, I believe, Afghanistan. I'm trying to remember correctly. And then that begins like another world war. And then we go to war with China. And then war is fucking horrendous at this point. Like it's the worst it's ever been in history as far as like the weapons of death that are there. But every single thing in that future is owned by corporations or ran by corporations, to include like all the politicians and everything. And you see that in the show. Like, so there's 3 main characters. There's a ghoul, there's a female protagonist who's from a vault, and then there's a male protagonist who's from the I don't even know if you say protagonist. There's a male character who's from Brotherhood of Steel, and he's not the best of guys in the world, but he's also not the worst of guys in the world. And the same thing goes for the ghoul. The guy who is the ghoul is the guy from what is it called? Vice Principals. He's also in like a bunch of other stuff. I can't remember his
Walton
name.
Goggins.
Walton Goggins. Yeah.
Ah, yes, I know him.
It was kind of weird to see him as a tough guy. I thought.
I mean, he does it really well though.
Yeah, he did. And he's a good actor.
The second episode has a lot of him in it. I'll say that. It's not really a spoiler if it's in the first episode. I'm not going to mention it. But anyways, what happens is that because he's a ghoul, he's from when the bombs dropped, right? And so he has a unique perspective on everything, and he kind of explains how shitty the world was to this vault dweller. And so you really, 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 it's nice to see the lens of Fallout from those different angles, right? Because the vault dweller doesn't know what's outside. She doesn't know what's outside the vault, and she leaves and she discovers it, and you're like, okay, this is like a new player to Fallout, or a new person discovering the Fallout universe. And then like the Brotherhood of Steel guy has a little bit of a taste of the Fallout world, right? He's the guy who's been out a couple times outside of the Fallout, outside of the Brotherhood of Steel camp. and all this other stuff. So he's got like a little bit of training. So that's someone that's played a little bit of Fallout, or maybe beaten one or two. And then you got Walter Goggins' character, who's like a ghoul, and he's like the seasoned Fallout person. You're like, yeah, you just murder anything that moves. You don't do like you don't take any shit from anybody. Like it's like the person who's playing Fallout for like the 32nd time and knows exactly who to kill and when. You're like, oh yeah, this is the seasoned guy. So the way the all the music in the show is from the games, which is from 1940s, 30s, and 50s. I think there's actually a 60s song in there as well. And so it's perfect, dude. It's so good on how they capture like the feeling of Fallout, like just the wackiness, the disturbing parts of it. It's really good.
And how did it make you feel, Nick, when you were watching it? Were you like, oh, this is all my expectations, all the eggs I put in the basket were met by this show?
So I didn't have high expectations, right? Because video game expectations tend to fucking suck, especially after the Halo show, right? And when I saw it, I was like, the opening sequence and everything, I was like, all right, this is cool. This is interesting. When the crescendo of the first episode happens, I'm like, here we go. Like this is Fallout. This is very much if they made the first episode in that show into the opening scene of one of the games, it would instantly be one of the best openings out of all the games in itself. It's a very unique opening. It's a very unique first episode as far as like because every time you play Fallout, you're a vault dweller, right? Except for the courier in Fallout New Vegas. But you're a vault dweller, and you're always like, oh, it's really pretty down here. It's really nice. And then you realize the weirdness of it. Like they like
the cult aspect of the vaults.
Yeah, you're like, oh, they refer to some people as breeders. They refer like people are brainwashed into like having as many kids as possible for like the future, and like people fuck their cousins because they're bored, not because they want to or have to. And the way that, because every vault is different, besides some of like the super mega vaults that were like owned by even more rich people, because that's the thing about the vaults, only rich people went in them. And the vault, every vault has like a different problem. So like in Fallout New Vegas or Fallout 3, I can't remember which one it is, but you go into a vault, and it's a vault where there was a cloning station, and there was like 100 people put inside of it, and a guy named Gary takes over the vault, and eventually you're just like, oh, okay, this is a terrible situation. There's another vault where it was 99.999% women and one man, and every single vault
the harem
is an experiment.
vault. That's on the NSFW area on Steam. The harem Fallout 69.
Every single every single vault is different, and this one is very unique. I'm like, oh, this is really cool. Some people have some lore problems with the show, which is always a thing, right? You're not going to appease every single person, but it's not like, oh, we're going to show Master Chief's face in the first fucking episode and there's going to be power sword fingernails. Like, it's not stuff like that. It's very much like, okay, this is a little different. This is a little change. This is changed so they can be put on the screen.
You have to sometimes.
Like that. Yeah,
some things just don't translate.
You have to all the time. I mean, it's inevitable. You're going to have people that are going to be upset because they didn't include this specific fact, or they changed one little thing about it. But yeah. So Warconius had asked us about this in the listener questions. He was asking about our thoughts on the show, which I think you just shared. And he offered his thoughts, which sound pretty much the same. He thinks they did a really good job to capture the feel of Fallout, a little bit of comedy, gore, action, and satire. And then he quotes something saying no more cousining. So I think that must be something from the show, or what you had mentioned about people procreating with their cousins.
I mean, you kind of have to at in a small village sized.
Yeah, when your population's like 150 or 200, yeah.
Apparently genetically it's okay. Like, it's fine. I listened to a podcast about it. What was I going to say? It was called Kissing Cousins. It's very good. What was I going to say? Ray lives in LA, and he went to the premiere at the theaters, and they played the first 2 episodes, which is like 3 hours. and he came
Each
out.
episode's like an hour to an hour and 15 minutes long.
Yeah. And he texted me and he's like, dude, it's everything. It's everything we want it to be. I was
That's
like, "Fuck,
awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Dude, that would have been sweet to go to a premiere.
Yeah.
The energy in there must have been really good, especially
Oh,
in
yeah.
LA, place with a bunch of nerds.
But the smell, I mean, of all those Fallout fans, whew, I don't
Yeah,
know
that's
about
true.
that.
Yeah, they're kind of vault
forgot about
dwellers
the
in the way
smell,
that they
dude.
don't shower. I guess. Cool. Okay. Nick, anything else on the show? Emilio, any other thoughts?
Are you going to watch it, Christian?
Of course, yeah. Right after I'm done Shogun, right after I'm done Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Ooh, next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, next year. See you next year.
Yeah. I'll
But
tell
no,
you.
it's definitely check it out if you have any interest in a alternate future or you like Fallout. It's so good.
Yeah. Cool. This week, the three of us got together with some great friends within the community and played Enshrouded, a crafting survival game that we didn't have to really convince Bobby that hard to play, which was kind of, he was just like, yeah, I'll be available. I'm like, oh. I had like a whole pitch lined up and everything, didn't even have to use it. It's in a Word document, and yeah, whatever. I'll use it for another game.
All right. Well, it was, I mean, a crafting survival game. Yeah, that's not my favorite, but I have heard good things about this one. So I was interested in checking it out. But as long as you let me know in advance, I can get something on the schedule. I can make things happen. The real hurdle, like I said, was the crafting survival element. But what I realized when I was playing this game, first of all, I enjoyed it. I had a really good time playing it. Like most crafting survival games, it does take a lot of time, like long play sessions. But I haven't played a lot of these newer crafting survival games. The Vampire one, Small World, Grounded, all these ones that have been popping up and everyone's been playing and getting all hyped about. So I feel like I was easily impressed. So I don't know. I don't know. Take my opinion with a grain of salt here, because when I play a crafting survival game, I'm comparing it to like Rust or Ark or something, which has been around forever. So what I really liked about Enshrouded was it seemed to be more focused on the combat and a little less on running around and just accumulating materials and then using that to build bigger bases. And
The gathering
level up.
is quite easy. Like, it's a 2-click thing, 4 clicks on a tree. It's not like tedious, like in 7 Days to Die or some of the other ones.
Yeah, well, it depends on what you're using. Funny enough, I did spend way too much time like building stuff. I had quite an interesting structure going. I was trying to block out the sun with stone.
Bobby,
But-
it looked like you were trying to break the game or something, or testing the physics. Is that what was going on?
No, I was just trying. I built a small tower that led up as far as it would go, and then I built a large platform there where I was going to build my enormous house. So I was above all the people down below. And
Bobby
course.
building this,
Yeah.
Bobby building this ruined my perception of this game by like 10%. Like every time I would go to our little village in town, it'd be like
You'd be
these
bummed
beautiful
out.
structures, and I'd be like, but there's kind of this, I'd be a little bummed out. I'm like, there's like this huge platform thing that doesn't make any sense, and then now it makes sense why you wanted to upgrade the flame so that we would have more build area so that you could build your thing to cover the sun more.
Well, I didn't get that upgrade. I got another one that gave us benefits that I have no idea what they do, but they sounded cool. It was like upgraded 4 different things, none of which I understood. But
Nice.
Yeah.
Number go up.
What's the movie with the super high rich people? They all live above Avalon, I think. And everything's-
Elysium.
Elysium. Yeah. So Bobby basically made the basis for Elysium, but never built anything. So we're just getting shitted on by just the rock part of it. There's no beauty up there.
Pretty much. I just want to hang out up there with my tanning bed. But
Where do you think the shit goes, man? The shit goes through a hole onto our village.
The workers, the people who do it's classic,
that movie was not subtle too. It was like everybody on the bottom level, like stuck down below, was like a bunch of Mexicans and Matt Damon.
Yeah.
But
why was he down?
Okay, for those who don't know, in Elysium, there's a bunch of Mexicans and Matt Damon.
they are
Bobby
the lower
did it.
class.
So the game is a mix of Breath in the Wild for the gliding and stamina, Valheim for the food and buff system, and I think Fortnite for the building. And I love this mishmash. I don't think. Did you guys feel like the game was doing anything like super avant-garde or It's just a
No.
good mishmash.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And then so I've never well, again, like Bobby, I haven't been playing the last 10. I didn't play Valheim, stuff like that. But the way I've played a lot of single player games that are like this. You start off, you go save a villager. That villager happens to be the blacksmith. That blacksmith comes back to your town, and now you have blacksmithing in your town. That's how this game works. But
Yeah.
you have to go out as a group and go save these villagers that are scattered throughout the world. And then they come back, and then they're part of your village. Again, a mismatch. Like they took that from a single player games and they put it in this, and I think it was a really nice match there. And I also like that. I mean, I was pretty selfish in that I was like, I'm not gonna gather and I'm not gonna build. I'm just going to hunt. And I feel like I also contributed because there was materials that I could only get through hunting.
Yes.
Maybe not as much as other people, but I got to play my way, and I had fun with it.
Yeah, you can do quite a bit in the game too, as far as like changing the landscape and like taking away hills or even building deep into the ground, like if you want to build a
Terraforming.
basement.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I don't know.
Lucian's wife,
I really
Jackie,
like.
built a little basement for her structure, and that was really awesome. Like the cellar area adds so much. Like
Yeah,
storage
except
room
there's
to the
no
base.
light down there, so if you go down there, you could easily get stuck if you don't know how to get back up.
Well, it's
It
the
is
boom
spooky.
boom room,
It
dude.
is spooky.
At first, I thought it was a trap. I was just like, "Oh, she built this just to trap someone."
I'm trapped. Shut the door so Bobby stops building his fucking sun blocker.
We can't grow crops. Bobby keeps building more.
Christian, you recorded the whole sesh?
I recorded the whole sesh, but unfortunately, I wasn't capturing my desktop audio, so my mic wasn't being recorded, and no one else's mic was being recorded, which sucks. But I did get some good shots of like our combat. I tried to get a shot of us all using the glider to fly off this hill and try and go into another hill, but then half of us fell into the lava for some reason. You can see the lava coming from so long. There's no excuse. People who fell in lava, by the way, like what was happening there? You know,
Can you pronounce lava for me one more time?
lava.
Thank you.
Am I saying
now-
it weird?
Now say pasta.
No,
say
you're
lava
saying
pasta.
Canadian.
Lava pasta.
See, he says pasta, right?
No, dude. He changed it. He Americanized it for us. He didn't say it the true
He's like
Canadian
lava
way.
pasta.
Lava pasta.
Christian, this is exactly how I felt yesterday trying to get the TV going.
I do the back of my neck. I'm like lava pasta, lava pasta, lava pasta. Yeah. But speaking of lava and pasta, I had a great time playing Enshrouded. I
Yeah.
played. Yep. A little
Oh
bit
no,
on my own.
I was agreeing.
You guys
Agreeing.
are stepping all over each other this
Dude, we
episode.
are-
Get it together.
We are not organic. It's a forced relationship. I played a little bit of my own, and I traveled to these faraway beacons that we saw on our group playthrough, and I was like, oh, wonder what's in here. Exactly like Breath of the Wild. I had to hit an alert button. I was like, this is Breath of the Wild. I had to solve a physical puzzle like you do in those games, and once I had solved that physical puzzle, this brass door opened and allowed me to access a chest that had like some high tier loot in it. And then after I was finished, I glided off the top of the beacon of the tower because the teleporter was only one way. So it was expected that I glided off the top of the tower. I mean,
Oh, that's pretty fucking rad.
it's exactly like how I remember Breath of the Wild being. And I love that part of Breath of the Wild. Not everything is a combat. Some of these puzzles are challenging in other ways.
This is not even a huge criticism, but the enshrouded part, I guess the first time I was like, ooh, I don't want to be in here at all. But then afterwards, it's just like it's a status change. Basically, you have a timer and it's a little bit darker in there, but it's not the scariest place. I think they could add a little more to
A
it.
little more spook factor. There
Yeah,
are the
that-
voices of the dead that you can hear in the
I
background.
was by myself. Remember, I was like, oh, I know this place already because I had creeped all around there, and you can actually you can sneak around pretty good, and there are just random sounds for no reason. It's like a zombie voice will just come out of the wall. There's no zombie, but they're just trying to freak you out, and it did work. But yeah, I don't know. I was a little The Enshrouded part could be a little more dangerous, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
more
Well,
threatening.
we did die many times in the Shroud, Nick. You weren't there, but I think you would have been proud of us. I think we went as a group of 6, and we full wiped 3 times at the exact same spot.
Felt like a lot more than that. When you die, it leaves a tombstone marker on the map. So I guess you can go back and get your stuff. I don't know. I never did, but there were quite a few tombstone markers on
Yeah.
our map.
We had littered the Shroud, the Enshrouded. Oh, on my personal playthrough, in that tower, there was some catacombs beneath it that I was exploring. And it reminded me of Skyrim because there are these webs on the wall. And if you passed a certain point, you know when like the Draugrs would pop out during Skyrim?
Yeah. Through the wall.
Yeah, and you could kind of like predict like when that was going to happen just by seeing ones that looked a little bit different. It was just like that, except spiders. The spiders were in the wall. Some of them were dead. Some of them were alive. I could kind of tell. But the first time it happened, I was like, ah! Then I was like, okay, actually, I know what this is, and I can navigate accordingly. So it wasn't, and it didn't end up being that spooky. But
All in
know.
all, what does this game cost for the poors, dude? I got mine for free, so I don't know.
the poors. Let's check
For
it
the
out.
pores.
For the poors, we're looking at a cool $40 Canadian, which is $29.99 in United States dollar dues.
That's on the higher end of what I expected, but not. It's not out of. Yeah, that's higher. Okay, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, for these games, you're going to spend a lot of time in them. So I don't stick them too much on the price. Like if it were $25, $20, $30, it really doesn't matter because a game like this, if you're buying it, you're probably going to spend like dozens and dozens of hours in it at least.
Yeah.
I think this is a fair price for the game.
When I was out by myself, I was cheesing the game. I thought I was cheesing the game because zombies are slow and I'm kind of fast. So I was just kiting them and killing them with a bow. And I thought I was like fucking Legolas. And then I realized the beetles, the creature, not the band, they fly. And they're way faster than me. And even though the beetles were lower level than the shit that I was killing, because of their speed, I had no choice, no shot at all. So I was glad that I wasn't able to just kite and cheese everything in the game. Like they
had
obviously
accounted
thought
for
this. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Skyrim stealth archers. They're like, how are we going to counter these fuckers?
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of, you just jogged my memory. There was that. What's the name? You pick your skill tree in a crafting survival game, and it kind of is branching and. There's all these different classes you can spec into, and I thought, hey, I haven't seen that before in this type of game.
So it's a reticle skill tree, right? It's circular or whatever, however you want to call it. And then the direction that you pick, whether it be up, down, diagonal, ends up at a class. So the goal is the class at the end of all these skills. So if you just keep going down one straight line, you'll get to Ranger pretty quick. But if you want a little bit of Ranger and a little bit of Beastmaster, which is right next to it, it's going to take you a lot longer, but you're going to have skills in both. Or maybe you don't. I don't know what the max thing is, but maybe you can never get to the official thing, but you're more well-rounded. So that's the way I saw it, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And that's
pretty rad.
That was satisfying. I mean, I'm kind of like I have a hankering in the back of my mouth to play Enshrouded right now. Like it's back there somewhere. I'm like, yeah, my single player base. I could use another stone column. And what about a patio? And you know, there was that church in the distance. I haven't gone there, and maybe I want to do that. Do you guys have any hankerings to go back, or you visited and you found yourself warm and welcome, but you kind of want to move on?
I would only play in a group situation like we did the other day. That's the only thing that would interest me. It's you guys that it's the power of friendship that made that game good for me.
True. Yeah.
Only good if you have friends. How many games are like that?
Well, single player seems like you would have to do everything and it would take a lot longer. You'd have to do all the building, all the fighting, the exploring. Like, yeah, I feel like I'd rather play this in a group.
What were
But
some of the
you
classes? Ranger, Beastmaster, and then that's all I saw. Because once I saw them, I didn't even look at the other ones.
Battle
a
mage.
tank one.
Yeah, tank. Classes in.
I'm just wondering if there's like a farmer or you know.
No, there was no non-combat ones. It looked, yeah, battle mage, healer, wizard, trickster, assassin, survivor, athlete, barbarian, warrior, and tank. Yeah.
So yeah, it's all the game is pretty much you're doing all of what you're doing so you could go kill shit. And the shit is not easy. Like
No, we got
and we got to play like DPS was DPS and tanks were fucking just holding their sword and board out and trying to keep aggro. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
The more I
that was
talk
fun.
about it, the more I'm appreciating the game. I had a really good time.
Yeah. I would go back. Maybe Freedom Fridays should be replaced by Enshrouded.
Good luck, bud.
Good luck.
I didn't have anything and nothing materialized. Spoiler alert. It didn't happen for me. But I would like to go back with the group we had. I had fun with those people. Okay. Anything else on Enshrouded?
I think that's it.
Yeah,
Then, Emilio, we get to visit the exciting world of Fortnite through you.
Yeah, so like I said, I had people over last night, and there were some teenage boys, and they're like, "This place sucks. I want to play some video games." So I was, so the dad was like, "Hey, man, you think you get Fortnite on your PC? Do I think
Do I think?
Jeez, give me about 30
How dare
seconds.
you insult me, you
Well,
pleb.
it's because they had the experience of like the sound with the TV before, and they were probably like, I don't know.
Yeah, they're just shitting on you.
So
caveman brain can figure out downloading something.
fast forward to the hacker montage of me
Yeah.
getting Fortnite like that. Like, this is how hacking's done. Oh no, there's a firewall.
I'm in.
So anyway, I got Fortnite. It took longer than I thought, actually, because what was it? There was some sort of hang up. Oh, my old email was fucking my Epic account, and there's like it's this scene, me right here, but there's like 5 people standing behind me watching, and so anyway, I finally got it, and the kids played, and they had a good time, although they never played on keyboard and mouse, so they had it's a different experience for them. Anyway, they played, and then I come in here this morning, and they left it on. And
of
course, it was already on
left
Fortnite.
It on? Whose fucking kids are these people? They left it on?
What? Yeah, whatever. So I get in here, and I was like, oh, Fortnite. I might as well give it a shot. So I played it, and it was really fun. Like, I had a really good time. I won, but I'm also like level 1, right? So I'm playing against bots and people or whatever, people that are playing on their phones and stuff. So it was very easy. And I guess right now they're doing the Avatar crossover. And so the legendary weapon in that is there's 4 of them. There's the earth, wind, water, the elements from Avatar. And they're really good. I found the earth one, and you could throw huge blocks of earth at people, and it does massive damage. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. And it was fun. And
did you play the no build mode, or did you play the build mode?
Build mode, but I'd rather play no build mode because I don't know how to do all that stuff. People were doing it against me, but I just walked around what they built and shot them. But they weren't very good. So I looked into the Avatar mode a little bit. If you get all 4 elements, the legendary items, you become the Avatar. I don't know what that means. I haven't seen any of it, but that sounds pretty cool. Like a little tiny sub quest in there.
Have we all watched Avatar: The Last Airbender here, like the cartoon?
Not the whole show. I mean, I watched the cartoon, yeah, not the.
Oh, okay, not the live action.
Yeah.
Never.
Nope, never seen it. Haven't even seen the new movie.
It's one of the best cartoons ever.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, we're talking about a different Avatar. I'm sorry.
Not the blue people.
Yeah, you're talking
about
about
the blue people.
Yeah. Oh my God, he's so old. He's younger than me, but he's so old.
Avatar. I think I changed my Facebook picture to that
one. And then I unplugged my computer, plugged it back in because I didn't like it.
You should watch it, Bobby. I say that, but
yeah, I tried to get, because Mila started with Korra, the follow-up spinoff.
Yeah.
And then she went back to watch it, and it is a little rough. It's just a little dated now,
Oh,
especially
really?
the first seasons. Yeah. just a little. But I mean, still super well written. It's a great show.
Right.
Bluey is my number one spot right now, though. You watch that shit, man. I almost cry sometimes. It's so fucking good.
There's a new episode today. It's 30 minutes long.
Yeah, I think I watched the one where they move.
I haven't seen it. Don't spoil it for me.
Yeah. So it almost made me cry, dude.
Rand was telling me that there's an episode where the mom is crying because she had a miscarriage. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Those are some serious
this
things.
show.
This is for toddlers, dude, and it's so good.
Wow.
Yeah,
Cool.
there's a lot of things for parents in the show that you would, if you're a toddler, you're like, what? But like, if you're a parent, you're like, oh, okay, this is like a real. There's a lot of shit in that show.
Like
make it really good.
The mom's sister doesn't come around, and they haven't seen each other for 4 years because she can't have kids, and she gets super sad when she's around her sister's kids, and it's just like fucking. But you wouldn't. The toddlers don't know this, you know.
Right.
It's really interesting, and the kids that are in the show don't know what's going on. You know, Mom, why is Auntie sad? You know. Yeah. It's and they're 6-7 minutes long. It's such a good show. Anyway, where was I? I was the Avatar, and I won the. No. So many items and fucking overstimulation in this game, man. I see why, you know, prepubescent kids are just like all about it because, you know, they have so much energy anyway, and then you have this, it just throwing you items and items and items, all kinds of shit, and it's too much for me. But I did, you know, battle royale is fun inherently.
Oh, what are we doing to our youth? Overstimulation. Bad.
TikTok, yay! Attention spans down.
Woo! Okay. On the radar, we're moving on to games that we're excited to play and have caught our attention in some way. Bobby coming out with 2. What's going on?
I'll start it off with a Gigantic Rampage Edition. So Gigantic was a game that came out back in 2015. I barely remember this game because I played it in beta. You could buy into the beta and play it. And it was a 5v5 MOBA hero shooter. So that was pretty popular. I mean, take yourself back to 2015. We're at like the height of MOBAs, I feel like. Also, this is right before Overwatch is coming out. So the hero shooter is getting popular. So I feel like this game was kind of right on target, but nobody really played it. It officially released in 2017 as a free-to-play game, but it just didn't have the player base. So they shut everything down in 2018. And I guess enough people missed it that they decided to bring it back in 2024. So the game is, let's see, how much is it? It is on sale for $15.99, but normally $20. So I feel like this is interesting for a few reasons. I mean, I may check out the game. I don't know. I didn't love it as much as some of the other ones like Battleborn, but if you come out with a free-to-play game, like you have to have a huge player base so you can monetize that in other ways and to keep the game alive and justify the running costs of it. But I guess they went the other route here. So they re-released it and they're charging $20 a copy and they're just going to make their money that way. And I mean, the game's got like thousands of reviews on it. So people are playing it. They're apparently... It's just, you know, if you come out with a free-to-play game, it's like you're going for broke. It's got to be the best thing in the world or you're going to shut it down in a couple of years. Like there's no middle ground. So if you charge $20 a game or $20 a copy, then you can afford to, it can still be profitable, but it can be a smaller game and not as big. I don't know. I guess it's just kind of interesting to me that how there's two ways of going about this.
You know, it's funny is I had a small business and initially my idea was to charge nothing for the service and people didn't want it. And then I started charging for the service and more people wanted it. Like I had better chance in sales. It was really interesting. Sometimes people don't want what's free. And we've all been burned too. But while you're watching the video for this, one of the highlights is no microtransactions, and it's sad that that's a highlight, but you know,
Yeah.
I guess it's good. That means you're getting everything the game has to offer for those $20 or
Yeah, they
$15.
put some new content in the Rampage edition. I think there's some new characters. But yeah, the perception of value is different depending on the product too. I feel like in video games, it's not as bad. If you see a free to play video game, at least for me, it doesn't really affect my opinion that much. It could still be really good, but if I do see free to play, then I know there's going to be costs elsewhere, either in time or microtransactions.
What was that one we played where they wanted you to watch the ads for the special currency, Bobby?
Oh, that's something that High Res does. What was the game I talked about a few weeks ago?
Oh, Paladins.
Paladins.
Oh, Paladins. Yeah. Yeah. The cost is, what did we give up for $20?
You can literally watch ads for like lawnmowers and get in-game currency. Yeah. And they've been doing that since Smite too. I remember when they started doing that in Smite back around this time, 2015 or so.
Bobby, there's something else interesting about this game that I just want to really quickly interrupt. It's published by Arc Games, which is Gearbox? Because I'm seeing Remnant 2, Star Trek Online, never... Like, this was Gearbox, right? Or was this always Arc Games?
So that's the publisher?
Yeah.
I don't know who originally published it. I remember it came out when I got the beta copy of it. I believe it was on Epic. I don't think it was on Steam.
I think you're right, Bobby. That's the way I remember it too, but I don't know. Did you talk about the what do you call it? The gimmick in this game, Bobby? What makes it gigantic?
Well, like the whole objective, the 5v5 thing is to try to destroy like this giant, what do they call it? Like an avatar?
Like a kaiju, yeah, like a big monster.
Yeah.
Your monster and their monster are gonna fight each other eventually. And you're trying you're trying to like influence that by bringing down the health of their monster before the fight happens.
It's kind of like a PvE boss fight with the 5v5 MOBA happening at the same time a little bit.
Yeah, and then they eventually meet, and you can influence the fight by continuously attacking the other one as well.
It's good really spin on a MOBA, right? That's awesome.
No, it really is. Yeah.
That sounds cool as shit. Yeah.
Basically, your base eventually walks forward and fights the other base. That's what it's like.
That's cool. But I did read this as gigantic for the first time. Unfortunately. Which means nothing. Yeah.
All right. Well, that game is out. People are playing it. It's got a community. I didn't check the users on it. I wonder how many people are playing that today.
Bobby, 4,200 today. An all-time peak, 6,000. So I think plenty of people to have a fun time with.
Yeah. It's got enough of a community. All right. The other game I wanted to talk about was Slay the Spire 2 was announced. Slay the Spire kind of given the credit for starting the whole, what do they call those types of games? The card-based combat ones. Is that what we're calling them?
Yeah, card combat, roguelike.
Yeah. I mean, every time I talk about a new one, it's just like you always compare it to Slay the Spire because that was like the first big one. Probably not the first one, but the first big one. And it looks like it's generally the same game, but new cards, new enemies, new characters and mechanics. So just like doing what they did before, but building on top of that. They also said there's new, quote, ways to play, but they haven't announced that yet. That'll be announced later. So I'm curious what that's going to be. And it's going to be a little while. The game is going to be in early access in 2025, which I guess isn't that far away. We're in April. I guess it is kind of far away. So we're going to have to wait for a bit. They did switch their engines. I don't know if this even really matters for a game like this. Yeah. I mean, does the game engine really matter? But they originally used Unity for the first one, and then Unity, back when they announced that they were going to charge per install of the game, and everybody got all upset about that. The developers of Slay the Spire 2 said, okay, we're switching engines. And they moved to this one called Godot, which I've never heard of this one before. And apparently it is a free engine that is actually pretty good and a lot of people are starting to use.
It's open source and free. It just doesn't have it's very editable as far as I understand to what you need to do, but something like Unreal comes with so many modules for all sorts of games that you can take advantage of. And Godot doesn't have that ecosystem built up yet. But if you know what you're doing, you could just edit that
Make it
into
all
Godot,
yourself.
upload it to the community. So I'm part of this local game dev group, and yeah, these guys, there's people there singing the praises of Godot every time I go. So every time I go, they talk about Godot.
Hey,
Hey.
I am a little underwhelmed by. I mean, they made a lot of money on the first one, and the graphics are. I never liked the graphics of the first one. I thought they were going to go in a new. Nope, it looks exactly, maybe a little crisper, but no, I'm let down here. Whatever. That's just a personal preference. I didn't like the art direction of Monster Train either, even though it's completely different. All right.
Yeah, it's giving me Adventure Quest on mobile browser. Themes, you know, for anyone out there who knows what I'm talking about.
A true observation has never been said.
I don't want to like sideline us here, but that's like a new thing that people are saying, and I didn't realize it until I was watching Love Is Blind, and then my girlfriend pointed it out, and I then I started to notice it. But people are saying like instead of saying like, oh, it's giving me something vibes, they say it's giving something.
Yeah.
And yeah,
And then you also
I was totally unaware of that, but apparently that's like a thing that people are saying now. Did you guys know about this? Obviously, Christian did because he just said
Well,
it. But,
I've appropriated it from the LGBT community. I believe that's where it's come from, like RuPaul's.
well, that's
Drag
where
Race and
everything
stuff.
comes from, dude. Pretty much
Yeah,
everything, dude. Everything comes. This is how like anything that's cool starts with drag queens and then works its way down into the rest of society.
The drag queen theory of everything.
And then they steal a lot of stuff from that 80s TV show Dynasty. So, but yeah, that's what I've come to realize is pretty much everything that is cool and that everything that's hip that people are doing, it all originates with drag queens.
I'm gonna need an article. About
we could
watch
spend
the
a-
documentary Paris is Burning. It's all in there, dude. Like you watch that documentary and it's like they talk about like all the stuff they do in their drag queen culture. And I'm just like, holy shit, dude, that's where that came from. That's where that came from. That's why people say that. Like, yeah.
It's
Interesting.
all connected. The Children of the Sun. Sorry, Emilio.
Yeah. At first I was like, what is this? It looks kind of weird. And it is kind of weird. But it's something new. So that's cool. It's at 95% right now. Positive reviews with only 266, but it's from Devolver Digital. That's my favorite publisher. They support the little guys and always pick really cool games. This is really interesting. You're some sort of like sniper and you only have one bullet, but you have multiple targets. So it looks like they call themselves a tactical puzzle shooter. So it looks like what you do is you pick the direction you shoot from, and then you can control the bullet during flight. And so after you get the headshot, you can hit the brakes on that thing, turn, and try to go to the next thing. But obviously walls and things like that are going to get in your way. So I think your starting point is probably really important, or that, you know, that's the tactical part of it. And then the puzzle part of it would be how to get to the next target. But it's got, yeah, I think people are liking it. $15 might be something just to play something different. Might pick this up.
This reminds me of what's that movie where they always say curve the bullet and like they shoot the gun but they like whip their arm around and it like kills four people in a circle.
Wanted. Yeah.
Is it Wanted?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
with
think I
Angelina
wanted
Jolie.
this game. Angelina Jolie, yeah.
Yep.
What happened to her?
Morgan Freeman says the F-bomb.
Ooh.
Oh.
I don't think it wasn't a good movie, right? I mean, come on.
It was
They're
all
shooting
right. It's a good
around
movie to turn your
things.
brain off of.
Yeah. Yeah.
This looks fun.
Speaking of which, I saw Roadhouse. Bobby, what'd you think of it? I know you saw it.
The new one?
Yeah.
No, I actually was going to check it out, but then the more I looked into it, I was like, this is just going to make me hate the first one. And I love the first one. So
It was good, dude. I liked it. And I think Conor McGregor did a really good job. They wrote him as just pure chaos. He's a Tasmanian devil, dude. He has like 5 lines.
Did he do cocaine in the movie?
He does everything in that movie, dude. Yes, he does it all.
So
and he shows his ass a
he's like
couple
himself.
times too. Yeah, it's worth a watch, dude. It's dumb fun for sure.
All right, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
For the ass. You heard it here on this podcast first. Okay, Star Wars Outlaws. It's on my radar because a story trailer dropped And it was it was so underwhelming for me.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Oh man.
Typical Star Wars story headline. I was like, what is new here? Is there anything new? It's like Solo, an Outlaws story. It reminded me exactly of the Han Solo movie, but it was cool that they included some of the Bad Batch characters in it because I'm a sucker for the Bad Batch. I really like that show. I think it's I think it is the best cartoon that Disney has made in the Star Wars universe, even counting the Clone Wars. Bad Batch.
Damn, that's saying a lot.
Yeah, great characters. I just love how they care for this little Kiwi person who's the girl clone that's been that was altered in the lab to be smart. Yeah, the trailer has some mad exposition in it. I think that's what it's called, Bobby. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but they're like, you crossed their boss Slero. Now you are going to pay the price. And then she's like, this job is a death wish. I'm in. It just all felt like super mechanical and like empty platitudes. Like nothing. I felt no story in the story trailer. Yeah, shows you're Jabba the Hutt, right? Uka wata misa hata. I was like, what the fuck is this?
These are my complaints about almost everything Star Wars these days. But the idea of this game is what sounded appealing to me. You play as this smuggler who takes on jobs for different or criminal organizations or something. So I don't know. That idea sounds like it could be fun. It's just not. It sounds like more open world and not like an A to B to C to kind of thing. So.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It could be good, but I feel like the story in those games is also important. And if the story is so typical, I don't know if I'll be interested. It's $80 Canadian, so with that price, I'm waiting for reviews to drop.
Yeah. Well, keep in mind, this is Star Wars, so if you deviate from the most basic archetype of like the hero's journey, people will throw a fit.
People are already throwing a fit, but we won't get into that because
Star Wars fans are upset. Oh my God, that never happens. I don't know. I think it's the closest thing we're going to get to Star Wars GTA.
Oh, GTA.
Yeah.
It'll be cool. Hopefully,
maybe.
I'm excited. We'll see. It could be another. I'm being so negative, but Skull and Bones was just such a freaking letdown, and it could be exactly like that, where they have the UI everywhere. There's like 30 elements I have to interact with before I actually interact with the game. They're cutscenes galore. Like none of that is something that gets me excited. So,
Christian, a little bit of a bird walk here. There is an animated thing for Star Wars on Disney Plus. I don't even know what it is. It's called like Counterpoints or 2 Points.
Oh yeah, they dropped that like a couple weeks ago or maybe last week. Yeah,
it's from last year, or a little bit longer, from the year and a half.
Oh, the anime one with all the anime. Yeah. I watched those. Those are cool. Yeah,
they're different.
All right, some are pretty good.
Anyway, so one of them was like how Ahsoka grew up or was a baby, and how Count Dooku came up. It's basically like two different ways.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, all of this to say was there's a scene where a tiger's about to eat young Ahsoka, right? Like it's going to eat it. And Luna had it, the concept of animals eating people. She figured that we were eating animals. She figured it out really easy. But she didn't know it worked the other way as well. And she goes, does that want to eat the baby? And I was like, yep. And she goes, animals eat people? And I was like, some of them do. She goes, which ones? And I was like, tigers, lions, bears. She goes, bears? Dad, don't tell me that. I sleep with a bear every night. Like that's like so matter-of-factly, dude.
Yeah.
So cute.
That's awesome. That's a good story. Yeah, keep telling us cute anecdotes. I'm for it. Krat dragons are still cool. The coolest thing in Star Wars. Just make a story about a pod of Krat dragons and how they love each other. They live in the sand or some shit. And that's the Star Wars story I want to hear.
Now, is that the Canadian pronunciation of crate dragon?
Yes.
How do you have I been pronouncing it all wrong?
No, I think I'm wrong.
No, it's not me. It's the Canadians that are wrong.
Yeah.
It's the Tatooines.
I was listening to the radio the other day, and someone said it was, I Someone said E to Z or A to Z. I was like, yes, embrace the Canadianness. Never say Z.
Well, that's Europe too, or the UK. They say Z. And Australia. Pretty much everybody except America.
Yeah, crate dragons. Yeah, not crat. That's just how I first read it, and I can never get it out of my head.
Yeah.
You really should.
Manor Lords, Nick. What's going on?
Hey, we got a little bit of news. It's coming out soon. It's coming out in 12 days. We're gonna see Manor Lords. Hey, check it out. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it comes out in 12 days. There's a new feature that got shown by the developer. Thank you, Chris, for showing that. It just shows that you can walk around your village in kind of like a third-person view as the Manor Lord, as the Lord of the Manors. Okay, you can walk around. You're like a little fief or a little whatever you want to call it, and you can check things out. Yeah, I just want to bring it up on everybody's radar again. It's coming out in 12 days. It will definitely be putting a lot of things down to play this. I'll no longer be playing Magic with Leslie. I'll no longer have her daughter. I'm shipping her off to like Mexico or something. But
Sniper, did you read the article that I sent you?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. So you don't build a smithy, I guess. It's a house that becomes a smithy, because it kind of works if you think about it. So if you make a house into a tier 2 house, that person can specialize into a business, and most people wouldn't have a separate, especially how small this is. You would turn your house into the thing that you specialize in.
Mixed use development for sure.
Yeah. So, but then that smithy is not going to go and cut down trees for you. Like that's what he does now. So you're committing that to that person. So anyway, this guy, because if you go down that branch of specialization, he's like, oh shit, like I got to commit 16 houses to make bread, because there's, you got to farm, you got to collect, you got to turn it into flour, you need silos, you need all this stuff, right? So he's like, I can't commit 16 houses, I only have 30 houses, like there's no way. So he's like, I'm gonna have an egg-based economy. So he just starts fucking really going to eggs, right? Like really hard. But apparently people hate eggs, chickens. Dude. Once they get to a certain point, it got really gassy, and they were not having with the gas, like they were like, no. They were very unhappy. His approval rating dropped tremendously, and also all the dead people. It was a big problem. Like there were so many corpses laying around that people couldn't get around because
I smell it. Not even eggs can mask dead.
Yeah, yeah. So
the game is so. What's the word I want to use? He's thought of these natural branching avenues that a medieval village would have normally taken, and he's put that into gameplay, and it's dynamic. It's not like a lot of other city builders were like, your buildings are these square plots of land and all the buildings look like this and they affect radiuses that are exactly this much, and you're building the logistics out with all these knowns. I feel like there's a lot more unknowns in Manor Lords, which make it kind of fun. I took the day off work to play this game. April 26th, I'm off. Vacation, baby. I'm playing that game all day. Me and a coworker took it off to play all day.
Nice,
we're gonna hopefully play it for like 16 hours. That'll be the dream. I know Nick is gonna play the shit out of it.
Yep, I'm gonna no life it pretty hard. I'm super excited.
I don't think it's gonna be a shit. What's the really big game that we convinced Bobby to play? He really liked it. That's like this, but like grander scale.
All the time.
Mountain Blade.
Mountain Blade. I don't think this is a Mountain Blade situation. I feel like
there is combat in it.
Right? Yeah.
The reason why,
but I think it's more on the city builder side.
Yeah, it's more on the fucking let's not have these people die side, I think. And then you run into the other people that didn't let their people die either, and then you got to kill each other, which is ironic.
My favorite thing, making peasants into soldiers.
Yeah.
Oh God, next military medieval police state. They're so confident in the product that they have here that previews have been sent out. Like the article you sent me was a preview. YouTubers have had preview videos out, It's the 14th today. I think they sent out the previews on Thursday or Friday. I saw the first one. The game doesn't come out till the 26th. Bro, people are getting a build of the game before, like 2 weeks before it launches. The people marketing this game are so confident in their product. They don't care. They want the longest hype train ever. So they're putting out the build as far as they can. And it's still good. People are still having a good time. So what's the final product that we're going to buy when Manor Lords comes out? I think it's going to be even better. You know?
Yeah.
It might be one of the best games ever made as far as like city management game types.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Maybe.
Curb
You
your
never know.
enthusiasm, man.
It's definitely going to be better than fucking City Skylines 2, I'll tell you that.
Okay, let's you've hurt me on a personal
Bobby, are you
way.
interested?
Ooh, yeah, but I don't think I have the time for that.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you drop out of school, dude, you have plenty of time.
Then maybe, yeah. What's the price tag on Manor Lords, or do we have one yet?
Not yet. No price tag yet.
I'm going.
Well, that's why it's on everyone's wish list and nobody's.
Are we going to play our game? Or let's play our game.
Let's play our game. That's
I'm
exciting.
getting $34.99.
$34.99. I'm thinking $60, dude.
I think $39.99.
Man, I want to go right in between, but I really don't feel like it's going to be $50. That would just be an odd pricing. I feel like they either go for the $60 or they go lower. Like nobody really does $49.99 anymore, do they? I'll do it. Let's do 50.
50 schmeckles.
50 schmeckles. Okay. Ooh, I love when we play this game. What if it's more? What if 60's too low? What if they're like, guys, it's one of the best games ever. Actually, $80, please.
Hey guys, this game has a name. We can't call it our game anymore. It's called The Price is Right. We're gonna play The Price is Right.
The Price is Right.
Okay.
Yes.
I was like, oh, we should name it. I was like, we didn't come up with this.
Can I get one of those really long mics that have like the little stick?
Oh yeah,
yeah. Bob Barker.
I think it's
we aren't going to know for
dude.
2 weeks.
Ooh, that is the thread. Okay, tune in 2 weeks to see if we were right. I don't know.
What a
Okay.
hook.
What a hook. Now we're moving on to the segment everyone has been waiting to be resolved. Guess that sound. Guys, there's $105 in the pot. I had $5. We had $5 every week that we have a guess where you don't guess the sound. Why am I switching up this? What is happening with the words in my mouth? You guys guess the noise. This is the noise you're guessing. It's the mystery sound. That's all you have to go off of. There's something in the background that's so important that I really want you guys to pay attention to when you hear it. I'll play it again. Now, I have faith that you can guess this. I believe in you. I believe you can do anything. You can win $105 on this podcast. You can win $110 on this podcast. So you should send in a guess to pixelshitshow@gmail.com if you know what that sound is. Every week I pick a random answer, and this week I picked Burn Division, who gave a fantastic guess. I think. Left 4 Dead 2, breaking into a shed with an axe for the Golden Crowbar Easter egg achievement. And he linked a video of it, and I was like, shit. That's a good fucking guess. What are we feeling? I mean, it's so specific.
I'm feeling a good producer would have that audio fucking lined up for us. So I'm dying to hear it now, dude.
It was from quite a long clip, so good producer doesn't exist today.
Yeah, I don't know. So based off the hints, first person, melee, mod, valve, and crowbar. I don't know if it fits the mod.
The mod hint, yeah.
Sounds like a Bunsen burner.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there's a Bunsen burner. I'm just saying, and it probably the Left 4 Dead 2 sounded a lot like it because obviously.
Well, there were a lot of puzzles in Valve games involving turning things turning valves to, I don't know, stop producing steam or something. I can't remember. So maybe it's something like that. But I don't think it's Left 4 Dead 2.
I'm sorry, Burn Division. You went above and beyond for your guess. Truthfully, you linked me your guess. You wrote out you described your guess so well. Some people are messaging us and they're saying, Counter-Strike Go. I'm like, dude, what the come on. Get with the program. I'm not even putting that guess down. But unfortunately, Burn Division, you were wrong, which means everyone has a chance to guess. Again, pixelshitshow@gmail.com to guess. Patrons get 2 guesses. And we'll be back next week.
Sweet.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
This is gonna. This first run of this is gonna bury us, man.
I'll never be able to financially recover from this.
Yep. This one's going to be rough. Listener questions, Bobby. What do we got?
We've got a few of them this week. First one from iTom. What game or genre makes you abuse the quick save feature?
Doom 3.
Really?
Dude, that game was so fucking scary. There was I remember one room in particular where I was like, this room is so scary. I'm not going to play it. So I shut my eyes and I saved and I shut my eyes and I just hold W and kept doing that until I got out of the room and I could fight on the other side. I wouldn't fight in the dark, dude. I'm not going to do it. There's fucking bodies hanging everywhere. Nope. I'm not
You
going to do
can't
it.
make him do it. You can't make him.
You
He'll
can't make
find
me
a
do
way.
it.
He'll
I beat the game though.
Mine's pretty easy. It's Fallout. Most of the Fallout games, if you don't know, has an autosave feature when you go into or outside of a building. The issue is there's no autosave function for whenever you're just walking out in the fucking wasteland, which is like 80% of the game. And if you die, you're gonna go back to when the last time you came inside or left outside of a building, and that could be like 3 hours, and you can just lose like 3 hours of progression if you don't quick save all the time. So yeah, Fallout.
That's rough.
What are those things called, Bob? Nick, the really nasty motherfuckers that are out in the wild.
The super mutants?
No, they're like a monster. It's like a cat type monster.
Deathclaw?
Yeah, Deathclaws. One Deathclaw shows up, and that's it, dude. It's
there goes your whole save. Yeah,
that goes everything.
There's some games that turn off the quick save feature because it would change the entire experience of the game if it allowed it. Games like XCOM, tactical turn-based shooters like XCOM, or I think Mutant Year Zero might have restricted the use of quick saves, but that was more of a campaign. But so in XCOM, you have your squad. If somebody dies, they're gone, and like you just have to deal with it. Too bad. Same thing with Darkest Dungeon. Darkest Dungeon, there's an example. So they took the quick save out of it. But with XCOM, I couldn't imagine doing like a hardcore run there where like I didn't use quick save to go back and save the life of somebody who would have died otherwise. I don't know. I know some people play it like that and think that's like the way it's supposed to be played, but I've apparently got nothing to prove here.
You not just that, dude, but I feel like the odds. I mean, 90% shot. Okay. You miss fucking 3 of those in a row. And you're like, what the fuck is going on here, man?
For some reason, so I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, like a little bit of randomness in a game makes it very fun. But for some reason in tactical turn-based, when it's telling you got an 85% chance to hit, and then you whiff that, and then you do it again like 10 minutes later, you start to feel cheated, and it just really doesn't feel good. So I don't know. The randomness in tactical turn-based games never feels good to me. I'm not exactly sure why that is.
Yeah, but you can't make. Well, no, there are games where you hit every shot is a hit. But I don't know if that's better or worse. You know. And
then if I'm lining up a shot and it says you've got a 35% chance or like a 25% chance to make this, I usually don't take that shot because there's probably a better something else to do. So it could work in your advantage. Like you could land those shots and get really lucky, but for the most part, I never take those chances. Like I just look at the odds and I think, okay, yeah, I'm going to take that, the 90% shot percent chance I'll take, but the 25% I won't. So
I think BattleTech mitigated that a bit because at the 90, I forget the exact percentile, but at a high percentile, it turns into a guaranteed glancing blow. So you do some damage because it feels fucking terrible when you have a 95% and you miss.
Oh, I see. It's a minimum amount of damage that it'll do.
Like a glancing blow does like
that feels a lot more fair.
Yeah. BattleTech.
I forgot how much you loved that game, dude. You played the whole thing through, right?
No, but I played a lot, and I had to stop because, well, basically nothing worth talking about new was happening, but I was having such a great time, like I could just do all the missions, get my people perfectly geared up, drop on the planet, have a great experience. But was anything different? Not really. Like, yeah, great game.
BattleTech. So that was by Harebrained Schemes, the same developer that made the other turn-based, tactical turn-based games, the Shadowrun games. Next question from Warconius. What would you trade your left nut for? Would you ever get it snipped, or would you rather keep the gun loaded?
You got both
This is why we don't have any women on the podcast. There's questions like these.
I would trade my left nut for being able to play as many video games as I want, for sure. And getting snipped, like Sam keeps fucking telling me to do it, and I don't know. I can't find myself to do it. Not that I'm not averse to surgery or anything like that, but and it's super minor. I guess you can go back to work that day, but I don't know. I feel like I'm losing a little bit of my manliness if I do that for some reason. What if all the men die tomorrow and I'm the only man left, dude? Yeah.
You get stuck in that vault, dude. You get stuck in vault 69.
Deep in vault 69. Oh, you're the only man, right? I got snipped. Dude, that's no bueno, dude.
No bueno.
What would I trade my left nut for? A lot of money? Like, I
A
feel
larger
like
right nut?
A larger right
that's
nut.
One super nut.
one super nut. Who had a super nut? Did
Yeah.
one of you guys told me this story about the guy with the super nut?
Yeah, well, I don't know if I told you the story, but my best friend's brother has one very large nut and the other one's like minuscule next to it. And it gets smacked around a lot, dude. He fucking constantly has trouble with it. Yeah.
Sucks. Yeah,
It's
maybe
not cancerous. He's always been like that since he was a
I
kid.
wouldn't trade my left nut for a bigger right nut then. I don't like the idea of it. Nothing. Maybe nothing. Maybe if someone gave me any deal, I wouldn't. Satan himself gave me whatever I want. I would not trade my left nut.
Not even for a fiddle lesson. All right.
I would have to be in Georgia. Then I would accept it.
Okay. Warconius also asks, what's the worst pain you've ever experienced?
Ooh, that's a great question, man.
I'm guessing he means physical pain.
I'm gonna go with. Wait, Bobby, answer the question. The nut question.
Oh, that nothing, dude. I'm with Sniper. No, thank you.
All right, and then I guess you don't want kids. Are you snipped? You might as well get snipped, right?
Yeah, no, I'm not. There's really no reason for me to be.
Interesting. All right. What's the worst pain? Oh, yeah, okay. So when I grew up, the reason I have a 16-foot trampoline, the large one, is because I grew up with one and I fucking loved it. It was great. I got really good at it too. And I was doing at the height of it, I was like, I don't know, fucking way in the fuck up there, 20 feet, whatever. I was as high as the power lines, I remember, and I could do triple backflips. It was sick. And then I missed a jump one time. And how did I land? My spine landed on the rim. This is before they have nets that go all the way around. And so my spine landed on the rim and I bent the other way, the way you're not supposed to go. And and then that, funny enough, you bend something the way it's not supposed to go. And I sprung off of it. So you bend your back and then my back straightened out again and I flew again.
You were the trampoline.
I was the trampoline. I am the trampoline now. Look into my eyes. And fucking, I heard every vertebrae pop, like when you pop your knuckles. And I'm laying there in the cashew position, just fucking. No, I couldn't breathe. It also knocked the air out of my lungs as well. And I laid there thinking about my 12-year-old life for like 30 minutes where I couldn't move. Like I was just stuck there. And yeah, it fucked me up pretty bad. I never went to the doctor or hospital or anything, but it scared me so bad that I wasn't able to do a single backflip after that.
Totally.
Sucked.
Yeah, that's fucking traumatic.
Yeah.
It wasn't the greatest pain ever, but me and my brother used to pretend that we were in the Matrix and doing fight scenes on the trampoline. And so we would get really close to kicking and punching each other, but never close enough to actually kick or punch each other, except of the time we did. And he kicked me right off the trampoline onto the ground. And it's the first time that I had the wind knocked out of me. And I remember running up the steps back up to my grandma's farm, and I couldn't breathe, and I knew there was something wrong, but I didn't know that was going to end. So I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
I was trying to say, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. And my brother's mortified. He's freaking out. He's screaming for my grandma.
He's over there like, I am the one.
He's looking at his hands. Spider-Man? Yeah.
Stupid.
So trampolines, man, they're fun until you get fucked up. Until your brother kicks you off the trampoline. Yeah.
A lot of trampoline. Nick, you got a trampoline story?
I do have a trampoline story, but that's not the most painful thing that's happened to me. I woke up one day and I'm like, dude, my testicle hurts hella bad. And I'm like, this is weird. And then it got worse. And then it got to the point where I started throwing up. It hurt so bad.
Was this right after you traded a genie, your left nut, for a larger right nut?
What was the context?
No,
here?
It was not. Apparently, I had a testicular torsion in my sleep.
Oh.
And yeah, luckily I got to the hospital on time. They had to do an ultrasound. They're like, everything's fine. We untangled it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, dude, it was debilitating. Like going down the stairs, I would rather walk on fire. Like it was like, it's that bad. It was the worst.
It sounds fucking terrible. Oof.
Wow.
And for those who don't know, your nut basically just gets twisted up, right, Nick?
Yeah, exactly. So what it is the main
vein,
like connect vein, that goes like from your testicle to like your prostate and all that stuff. It just twists. If it gets knotted, you're fucked. You'll lose your testicle. Like there's nothing you can do about that. But like if it just twists around and it gets like semi-looped, you are like, it hurts so bad. Like it's hard to tell you how bad it hurts. It hurts in your stomach. It doesn't even hurt in your balls. Like it just hurts so
That's
bad.
a good nut shot hurts on your balls, but only it's the surface. But your stomach, dude, you're like, you feel sick. Yeah.
I'm rethinking this, trading my left nut. I'm thinking there's advantages of the super nut. No tangles.
Okay. No tangles. Untangleable.
Wow.
Bobby,
Okay.
what is the worst pain you've ever?
I haven't really injured myself really badly.
Oh my
at
God,
all,
dude.
so.
Are you going to bow out of this question too?
I mean, I've been pretty lucky. I've never broken a bone. I've never had, I've been in the gym before, like when I did kickboxing and stuff, where somebody wasn't wearing a cup and just caught one to the nuts, and they would go down and just be writhing in pain for like a full on 5-10 minutes. Never happened to me, thank God. Bruised a shin bone pretty bad once, but never took one to the nuts, thank God. Because that sounds horrible. The worst pain that I've ever felt, I don't know, probably the ice pick headaches I get, which are exactly what they sound like.
Jeez.
It's actually, it's all stress related too. So any sort of medication doesn't do a thing for them. I've also got like a sensitivity to light, I've noticed. So that's why I like things dark. That kind of adds to it, but definitely doesn't cause it. But at the worst they've been, I actually went kind of blind for a while.
Oh no.
Not really blind, but when you look at something super bright, like a light bulb that's not covered, and then you get those spots, it was like that, but over most of my vision. And it happened at work and I had no idea what it was. And that was during one of these episodes of my ice pick headaches. So, I mean, that's been the worst it's ever got, but
How often does this happen?
It depends how things are going, man. It's been pretty good lately.
Sakes, dude. Okay, that's good.
Yeah. I mean, a couple months ago, like, I don't know why, but I was getting them a lot again. And it's not like I can just be like, oh, all right, I'll chill out and do something else and play video games. Like, it's like a wind down process that takes weeks, dude. Like, it's really got to, like, every day I just got to do like anti-stress techniques and get enough sleep, eat right, exercise, like just do all the stuff. Because if I don't, then it like turns into something that takes me like weeks to months to resolve. So it's just being old, man. Being old, man. It sucks.
Sorry, man. Sorry you have to deal with that.
Yeah.
I'll continue just doing whatever the fuck I want and having no repercussions.
I like the arc of that question too. You were like, I haven't been through much pain in my life. Bruised shin bone, told the story about the friends getting kicked in the nut, and then you're like, ice pick headaches that made me blind.
Yeah. Psychic attacks from space.
that have no medical answer, by the way.
It's the weirdest thing because migraines kind of run in my family, but I think I never really considered them migraines because they were so different. It's like absolutely no headache. And then maybe at the worst, it happened like once every few minutes, but sometimes it'll be more spread out than that. But it's all of a sudden this incredibly sharp pain that just goes straight down the back of your head into your neck. And it's like debilitating for a split second. Like I worry about them when I'm driving because I feel like I'm going to crash my car, but it's just like, ugh, every time one hits, I'm just like, ugh, like there's nothing like I can physically do. But it only lasts like a split second, so it's not like super bad.
I could imagine the what do you call it? Like waiting for the next one to come must suck. Like if you think you're in an episode, oh geez.
You know that it keeps coming and coming.
You're like the movie Phenomenon without the superpowers, dude.
Yeah, I guess so.
You do have some superpowers, though. To be fair.
For sure.
It's weird that you're describing that because my sister has epilepsy, and she describes the moment before she has a grand mal seizure, like the one that puts her on the ground where she like withers. It sounds pretty much like the same thing from what she describes what happens to her, except she also says like she feels like as if she has like an aura around her skin, and then the headache happens. She doesn't describe it as a headache, but then the shooting pain in the middle of the back of her head happens. Then the next thing she remembers, she's like on the ground looking up, So
wow, well, that sounds a lot more intense than what I'm dealing with. Yeah. All right. Well, we ended on. Oh wait, no, we have one more listener question here. This one from Zap. What's the biggest change in your life since the podcast started?
Ooh,
having
my own kid, I guess. Yeah,
having a
kid. For sure.
Yeah, like everybody's going to be having a kid here. Even Christian's in that having a kid gang.
Having a kid.
He can't say it quite. Yeah. So right now, what would it be, Christian?
I moved cities. I moved places twice. I started a new job. I think life-changing things, but the typical things, nothing huge.
Yeah. Going from. I've changed a lot of fucking bit. Like I went from working at a grocery store to having my own business to having another business, and then now committed completely to this like construction thing. I would say, a lot of like money income changing, I guess, of different. Yeah, I've like tripled how much I make, but I've also tripled how much I work too.
Oh, here's a fun thing, Bobby. Have you had the same TV for the whole podcast?
Yes, I got that TV in 2012. Is that my biggest change? New TV.
Bobby's. There's a lot of things that bother me about Bobby, but number one on that list is his crazy fascination with like him not wanting to put a heavy TV on his wall like it's gonna fall off. It's literally never happened to anybody ever, and yet. He thinks, why do they make 100-inch TVs? It's way too dangerous, bro.
Well, I was really nervous when I put that old TV up, and that was 50 pounds. That's it. But my TV mount is low profile, so it kind of limits what I can put there. Plus, I put it too high, man. I mounted it too high. So the way that I adjusted the brackets, my old TV was only hanging by 2 bolts because it was hanging so low, which I don't think is a big deal for a 50-pound TV, but that was 2012, man. You can get a 65-inch that weighs under 50 pounds these days. So
you can get a new bracket, dude, a new bolts, new everything. Like I still don't.
Then I got to patch the walls.
You're in the crazy world now, dude.
Yeah,
you don't have to learn how to.
You don't have to patch. You don't have to patch because it's behind the new TV.
You see?
You could learn
Then
how
I
to
just have
patch.
holes back there.
Yeah, just have
I
holes
mean, I
back there.
could.
Take some
Honestly,
He's
putty
gonna think
stick.
about the holes while he's in bed. He goes, "There's holes back there."
Yeah,
Ice pick.
I've got kind of a clean look here, if you haven't noticed. But no, the biggest, honestly, the biggest problem with a big TV is getting it up here. It's a process because of the high-rise building that I'm in. I have to schedule that, and depending on the size and the amount of things that I bring up, there is a cost. And then if
Bobby,
it's
me and you could get a TV in a box up there with no problems at all. I used to do it for a living.
yeah, no, we could get it up there and get it mounted, no problem. But I don't.
And you guys would have to hang out. That's like,
Hey, Bobby's been coming over for Magic, dude. It's been awesome.
oh, that's good. That's good.
They say the viewing distance on a TV is 1.2 times the size. So if I had a 60-inch TV like I used to have, the appropriate viewing distance for that is 72 inches. So is that 1.2 times 60 or am I?
I'm gonna throw up. I can't take this. You get the
How
biggest
many-
TV you can afford. Everybody does. No?
Yeah,
No,
but there's
I
different
don't
things. So
agree
the
with that.
TV
I don't agree with
I'm looking at, I want 120 hertz. Like I really want that one. So
Yeah.
I could either go for the 75-inch or for the same price, I could get a 65-inch. That's 120 hertz. I'd really like to get an OLED, but those are way more expensive, and you can only mount them on the very bottom because the panel is so thin that they've only got like a spot at the bottom where all the electronics are, where you can mount it. So that really wouldn't work because my mount is too high. Unless I moved it and patched it, but
Number one on the list. It's number one.
I want to see this list. It's like on his notes app. He has like
It's not
100
very.
things.
It's not very long, dude.
No, it's not very long. All right, cool. What's everyone playing next week? Oh, and Nick, sorry. What's the biggest change in your life since the podcast started? It's
Having
so
kids.
recent. Having kids.
Yeah, or moving to San Antonio. Two of them are
Right.
huge.
Yeah.
Next, you know what? Getting out of the military.
Nice. That was big.
Huge.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, that's really about
Wow.
it. Nothing too.
Our lives are really changing. Leaves me with a warm, fuzzy feeling inside, guys.
all right.
No?
Next week, I have no idea what I'm going to play. I'll be honest. Not a clue. I would love to play Enshrouded again if everyone's going to get together for that.
I would love to play Enshrouded again. I'm writing it down. Enshrouded. Nicholas?
I will be playing Baldur's Gate with Leslie modded for sure this time.
Okay. If you say so. You don't have to.
So Helldivers 2, I haven't played enough, and but I want to fuck around with this game mode. If I can somehow get that, what do you call it? You just talked Baldur's Gate. If I can get Baldur's Gate to play on my TV out there, and Sam and I can play it, that would be fucking sick. Because that would save me from having to buy a PS5.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even if I have to buy a copy from wherever. Is it on Xbox Game Pass now?
No,
No.
I don't think it's ever going to be going to Xbox, dude.
Okay. There was like a big game on there that recently. Whatever. It's fine. All right. I think that's a show. Speaking for Bobby, Christian, Nick, and myself, Game Hub titties, brand new TV titties on my shitty. I didn't even look at my fucking bracket. I took the bracket off the smaller TV. I put it on the other one. It's all loose and shit. But we watched the TV. We watched the UFC, and that's what's important.
Bro, I pressed the button. It's a falling hazard for sure.
Yeah, I gotta go fix it.